Now, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis just over 3 years ago, and at that time I started an anti-inflammatory diet. And I'm going to talk too much about the content of that diet. Instead, what this video is about is what I've learned in the last 3+ years about being on a diet. And specifically, I've come up with a list of 9 things. Now, I know it should be a list of 10 things, but it's a list of 9 things. 9 things which will totally sabotage and undermine your ability to stay on a diet over the long term. All right, now, first and foremost, I think it's your definition of what a diet actually is. A lot of people tend to think that a diet is a sort of a list of the foods you can't eat. And if I tell people I'm on a specific diet, the first thing they ask me will often be, what are the foods you don't eat? And I get that. I have foods I don't eat. And I think most people who are on any kind of diet have foods they don't eat. But if you're going to succeed on a diet, you've got to think about it in a positive frame of mind. You've got to think about your diet as the foods in front of you, like the stuff on your plate, on your table, in your refrigerator. Your diet is what you consume. It's not what you don't consume. And if you think about your diet positively, it's not like a minor thing. It's a whole mindset about actively doing something instead of avoiding something negative. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, in my mind, of things that will undermine your ability to stay on a diet over the long term. Number 2 is getting on a diet that is intrinsically defined as temporary. Now, that just seems obvious, but a lot of diets are like 30-day diets or 60-day diets. Those diets are not meant to be long-term strategies. And I understand why people do that. You know, they want to cleanse, they want to detox, whatever it is. They want to reboot their system. And that's fine. If that's what you want to do, do it. But the hazard of those diets is that once you've cleansed and you've detoxed and you've rebooted your system or whatever it is, you go back to eating what you were eating before. So those kind of temporary diets, I think, are really counterproductive. In addition, if you only have one motivation for your diet, like say your diet is all about just getting thin for the summer, it's totally not going to be a sustainable diet. It's more of a crash diet that might get you almost to where you want to be for the summer, so you can wear your bathing suit and show off your abs or whatever, but it's just not going to be a long-term type thing that registers with you on multiple levels. All right, so that feeds into number 3 for me. Number 3 thing that's going to screw up your diet plans. And number 3 is about motives. There are a lot of different motives to be on a diet, and as I mentioned, my motive almost primarily has to do with health. But for me, my motives register on multiple levels. If you have a diet plan that only registers for you on one level, like it's just about aesthetics, or it's just about your belief about pesticides, say, I just don't think you're as likely to succeed as if that diet registers for you on multiple levels. There are motives which are really not strong enough to compel you to stay on a diet. For instance, being on a diet for somebody else. Say you read one book or watched one YouTube video or even 2 YouTube videos and decided to go on a diet. Those are just not deep enough motives. You got to do some research, and doing it for someone else is okay, but don't exclusively do it for somebody else. So I think you need to have multiple motives to inform your diet. One of those has got to have something to do with health, but there are also just so many other beliefs which can register for you to sort of motivate you and maintain your commitment to a diet. And here I'm talking about like beliefs about the world, the environment, animals, agriculture, even religion, and politics. All of those things will ultimately inform a diet, and if you've got those going on, you've got those informing your choices to be on a diet, I think you're much more likely to stay on it. All right, reason number 4 of why I think your diet is going to fail. I don't want it to fail, but this is a reason why they often fail. Flexibility is really good in the world. We all want to be flexible and easygoing, but a flexible diet is just doomed. I sort of mentioned this before. Flexible diets are ones where you follow the diet most days of the week, but you flex on Saturdays or you flex on Friday nights or whatever. those diets just don't work in the long term. And I know I'm not alone here. I really don't think it's a good thing on a diet to follow the idea of having cheat days or cheat holidays or cheat dates or any of that kind of stuff. Just find your diet and stick to it. Find a way to make it positive. If you define your diet positively in the first place, the foods on your diet are the foods you want to be eating. So a cheat day doesn't even really make sense. Reason number 5 why your diet might fail, or you might fail to stay on your diet in the long run. And number 5 is that you haven't done enough planning for the newly defined, newly discovered food deserts in your life. Here I'm talking about that time when you're at work, say, and you need to find something for lunch, and you go to the nearby restaurant or the nearby food store, and you just can't find the food that you need. I'm talking about traveling. I'm talking about going to work parties, holiday parties. Trips near and far can totally trip you up when you're trying to stick to a diet. Now, I do think that on almost any diet, you can plan ahead by packing your food or planning to find the food that you need or finding restaurants or food stores where you can get exactly what you need. But that takes some work and planning, like it really does. And if you're sort of like a spontaneous, in the moment kind of person, and you think, oh, I'll just work it out when we get there, I just want to hit the road and drive for a few hours and then find some lunch, it's not going to work. It's going to be something that breaks your diet. All right, now number 6 is going to piss some people off, and I know people are going to disagree with me on this one, but I got to say that I don't think you should eat out. Eating out is fun. A lot of people like it. It's like a big part of a lot of people's lives. But if you're on a diet, you're trying to control the food that you eat. And when you eat out, you've got no control. I know you think you know what's in that dish you just ordered, but you don't exactly know how it was prepared or what went into it. Now, most diets these days are about eating whole foods and not a lot of processed foods and simple proteins and things like that. And I know there are restaurants where you can find that food, but it's not the majority of restaurants. So in general, I say you're better off just not eating out. If you eat out, you're gonna have stuff that has more oil, more fat, more salt, and is cooked in some kind of way that you don't have control over. Now, number 7 is kind of a tough one. It has to do with the people around you. And basically what I'm saying here is that if you don't have support from the people around you, I'm talking about your kids, your family, your coworkers, your loved ones, your friends. If you don't have support for your diet, and if those people are undermining you, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough to stay on your diet. I know some people are just hardcore, like really hardcore. They can do anything no matter what. Whole family's eating one thing, they're over here eating something else. It's really hard not to share food with people, and sharing food and eating with people is just like one of the things that people do. It's just like a cultural thing. So not finding support from the people around you is hard. If you're seeking support, I would recommend going through your motives with people, talking about the different motives you have. And I think if people really support you, they really love you, they're going to understand that your diet is in your best interest and possibly even in their best interest. All right, reason number 8 why your diet's going to fail, or you're going to fail on your diet, is because you're not a good planner. Now, that sounds a little bit harsh, and I do appreciate the value of spontaneity, especially around food. You know, it's fun to just like go out and just find something to eat, or hit the road and just find something on road, eat some local food or whatever. But that just doesn't actually work if you're trying to stick to a diet. If you're trying to stick to a diet, you've got to do some meal planning. You've got to plan it in advance to have food on hand, and not only have it on hand, but have prep time and the kinds of foods you're going to be eating. I would really recommend you think about a schedule, like eating things on, say, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night that go in sequence with and sort of coordinate with your Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights. Now, that is totally organized, and you might not be that organized, but you've got to do some planning ahead to succeed in a diet. If you just wake up in the morning, you don't know what you're going to eat for breakfast, and start digging through the shelves, it's going to be a hard thing for you to find the foods that really fit with your diet plan. All right, this is number 9. My 9th reason why it's dang hard to stay on a diet in the long haul. And this is getting a little out there, but I truly believe this. I truly believe that being on a diet is setting yourself in opposition to mass culture. So, you got the whole society out there, and the dominant messages are eat a lot, eat all kinds of food, eat fast food, eat prepared food, eat everything at the grocery store. Like the whole grocery store is up for grabs. And if you're on a diet, that's just not what you're doing. If you're on a diet, you are limiting your consumption of the foods. And for some people, you're limiting it a lot. And it's like politically motivated. You're a vegan, you're like a politically motivated vegan. You're trying to make the planet a better place. And you are clearly and obviously opposing mass culture. But even if you're just on an anti-inflammatory diet, you're not eating gluten, you're not eating heated oils, you're not eating a bunch of dairy and other foods that are really part of like the mainstream. So I think you've got to brace yourself for this. If you are a don't rock the boat kind of person, it's going to be hard for you to get on a diet and stay on it, because you're kind of telling the people around you that you're not part of what they're participating in. And that's just rough for some people. Other people, no problem. Some people it's just like, whatever, I'll eat whatever the hell I want. I don't care what people think. But I think for some people it's hard. It is challenging to take that kind of countercultural position and admit to the world, admit to yourself that you're on a diet. Like you follow a specific eating regimen that's different from the mainstream. All right, that's my video. Thanks for checking it out. Leave me a comment down below. I'm totally interested in what people think about this. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, you can click that subscribe button down below. It's not going to hurt you. On this channel, I talk about multiple sclerosis, this disease that I deal with all the time, other people deal with. I also talk about health, wellness, exercise, fitness, stuff like that. In the meantime, I hope you're doing well, and I will see you in the next video.